Volcanoes erupting and potential coup in Mexico? It's 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV. 5 things you need to know in about 10 minutes for Wednesday, November 26th, 2025. I'm Derek Gilbert. A program note, we will not be here tomorrow, as tomorrow is the Thanksgiving Day holiday here in the United States. Thursday and Friday will be days off for us and our staff here at Skywatch TV. Next week, our schedule will be spotty. We will be, I've got a number of doctor's appointments next week, literally 5 in 4 days. And the closest one is 35 minutes away. Most of them are an hour or more away. If you've been following me on Facebook, you know what, the symptoms I'm dealing with. It's some kind of autoimmune disorder. So we've got tests lined up next week. And because of the travel time and the time in the doctor's offices, or undergoing whatever testing they've got lined up for me, may not be able to pull a full schedule next week. So your prayers and your understanding very much appreciated. We'll be here Tuesday for sure. The rest of the week, we'll see. Item number 5 today, shooting near the White House this afternoon. This is breaking news as of this afternoon. 2 National Guard soldiers shot at point-blank range just outside the White House perimeter. This is just a couple of blocks from the White House at 17th and H Street Northwest in Washington, D.C. Both these soldiers are members of the West Virginia National Guard. Their condition is not confirmed at this time. As of this recording at about 4:45 p.m. Central Time, I've not seen confirmation yet. West Virginia's Governor Patrick Morrisey did issue a statement earlier this afternoon saying that the 2 members had expired from their wounds, but he had to walk that back a few minutes later, saying that he was getting conflicting reports and that was not confirmed. What we do know from the Washington Metropolitan Police Department chief is that the soldiers were taken to a hospital in D.C. where they're being treated for their wounds. And again, while they're in critical condition, we don't know they're anything beyond that at this point in time. President Trump posted to Truth Social that, and I quote now, "The animal that shot the 2 National Guardsmen will pay a very steep price," end quote. And in fact, the shooter was subdued by other National Guardsmen and Metropolitan Police in the area very quickly. He also has been taken to hospital for treatment. Don't know anything about his identity at this point in time, but Secretary of State, or War, that is, Pete Hegseth, held an impromptu press conference outside and told reporters that President Trump had ordered him to send another 500 National Guardsmen into Washington, D.C. Now, sadly, while the families of these soldiers worry and wait for news, the day before Thanksgiving, the political pundits are already turning this into a political football on social media. Al Sharpton, who I will not call Reverend, already on MSNBC blaming President Trump for this. Conservatives blaming the inflammatory words of the so-called seditious 6. Those are the 6 Democratic lawmakers I told you about who released a video last week calling on members of the intelligence community and the armed forces to refuse illegal orders without specifying which orders they thought were illegal. Look, these soldiers are still being operated on as far as we know. Can we at least wait before we turn this into a game of gotcha over which side is responsible? The shooter is responsible. Can we agree on that? Item number 4 today, Mexico. 2 weeks ago, protests erupted in 50 cities across Mexico. I didn't talk about it because gut instinct, it seemed not grassroots, just like the protests here in the United States over No Kings or the Black Lives Matter protests, which we now know were funded by billionaires funneling money through a network of NGOs and so-called nonprofit organizations to pay people to get out on the streets. It struck me that this had that similar feel to it. Western media adopted the narrative that this was a Generation Z protest, young people upset at President Claudia Sheinbaum's administration for corruption, ties to drug cartels, and so forth. There was footage that was being shown on social media of law enforcement clashing with demonstrators. Wasn't reported that of the 120 people reportedly injured, 100 of them were police. What's missing from these reports is the fact that most recent polls out of Mexico, as far as I can tell, show that President Sheinbaum is actually very popular, that she's been in office for a year and her approval rating still ranges about 70%, which is extremely high for somebody who's been in office a year. Usually there's a honeymoon period and that wears off after the first 90 days or so, and then things sink to a level that's usually in the 30s to 40s. That seems to be the pattern. President Sheinbaum, very popular. It appears that she may be a little too effective in confronting the drug cartels. According to reports that I've seen, within 6 months of taking office, Mexican police and security forces have dismantled 750 drug labs across the country, arrested close to 20,000 drug cartel operatives, and seized over 140 tons of narcotics. Now, given that one of the media sources that is amplifying the protests, a Mexican media outlet called Animal Politico, Political Animal, it's listed as a wing of the it's the National Democratic Institute, but it's a partner of Animal Politico, National Democratic Institute linked to the National Endowment for Democracy. The NED is a cutout that's often used by the CIA to do things the CIA can't be caught doing. Now, why do I put all this together? I'm speculating here. I am speculating. I don't have any evidence, but is it possible that the drug cartels that are being taken apart by the Sheinbaum administration were in fact working with the CIA? I don't know that for a fact, no evidence to that effect. I'm speculating, but in my lifetime, we have seen the CIA involved in darker and stranger things. Introducing crack into San Diego, the Iran-Contra affair. Just keep an eye on Mexico, and we'll see how things play out. In item number 3 today, Invasion USA. A new Senate report has unmasked the Biden administration's deliberate push to use at least 11 American airports as shelters and processing hubs for illegal immigrants, despite the warnings of the Federal Aviation Administration that this would compromise aviation security, putting travelers at risk, putting flights at risk. This comes from a Senate Commerce Committee report. The investigation was led by Chairman Ted Cruz of Texas. He launched this report back in August of last year to look into, quote, security lapses in vetting and screening illegal aliens at airports, end quote. The Biden administration allegedly pressured airports to house migrants, including Boston Logan, Chicago O'Hare, New York's JFK. O'Hare, up until the rise of Hartsfield in Atlanta, the busiest airport in the United States, at O'Hare, as many as 900 migrants are being sheltered in a shuttle terminal. And it was admitted by Chicago officials that asylum seekers were not restricted to the staging area. They were free to wander. And there were a number of police reports, 329 service calls, 26 arrests, according to reports between April of 2023 and February of 2024. Now, this has gone away with the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration, but the fact that the Biden administration was doing this without telling the American public, if nothing else he did, should have been grounds for his impeachment. That alone should have done it. But we're only knowing about it now after it's too late. Item number 2 today, volcanoes. The Kilauea volcano in Hawaii began a 37th eruption of its current series of eruptions that began on Tuesday afternoon. That has now ended, reportedly, but sustained lava fountains of 400 feet in height were reported as a part of this series of eruptions. Meanwhile, a volcano in northern Ethiopia erupted Sunday, its first known eruption in 12,000 years. This one is visible from space. You can see it on satellite images pointing down at Africa. This volcano is called Haile Gubi, spewed ash up to 9 miles into the air for several days, led to flight cancellations, ash being distributed over communities in the area. This is a shield volcano, so named because it looks like a shield lying flat on the ground because of the shape is because of lava that erupts and just kind of flows down this gentle slopes over many, many years. But that's why this is so remarkable. It's not usual for shield volcanoes to shoot ash that high up into the air. So let's hope this is not a sign of something more intense to come. Coming up, we've been talking about artificial intelligence, and now we ask the question, what if your favorite artist turns out to be an AI construct? In other words, does AI-generated music have soul? Next on 5 and 10.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to remind you that Skywatch TV is a viewer-supported ministry, and right now, when you partner with us, your support not only helps us stay on the air, it also enables us to continue the mission through our networks and digital platforms, reach areas of the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ that are unable to support us financially. Right now, while supplies last, for your donation of only $29.99 or more, we're not only going to send you AI for Mankind's Future, a Christian perspective on the high-tech revolution, but we're also going to send you Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis's best-selling books, Kings of the East, China's Plan to Eliminate America and Impose a Communist World Order, and the incredibly patriotic Give Me Liberty, Not Marxism. These amazing works, sold separately, hold a retail value of over $60. Yours now for your donation of only $29.99 or more, which includes free shipping to all U.S. addresses. Your support helps Skywatch TV continue reaching the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the AI for Humankind's Future special offer right now.
Item number 1 today, controversy in the music world as an AI-generated Christian music artist named Solomon Ray has hit the gospel world and taken it by storm over the last few weeks. He is now topping the iTunes and Billboard charts with a new album called Faithful Soul, which is an ironic name because, as it turns out, he's not real. His Spotify account is describing him as a Mississippi-made, note, Mississippi-made soul singer carrying a Southern soul revival into the present. He's dropped a 5-song EP on November 7th. The record hit number 1 on the iTunes Top 100 Christian and Gospel Albums chart within a few days. And 2 songs off that EP, Find Your Rest and Goodbye Temptation, as of this recording, number 1 and number 2 on Billboard's Gospel Digital Song Sales chart. Now, here's the thing. It's not immediately obvious that Solomon Ray is an AI because he's depicted in AI images and videos as a black man wearing a gold cross necklace. He's got a white-collared shirt, wears a tan fedora suit. And when you're just listening, it's pretty good music. I mean, it's very catchy. It's not evident that you're listening to a digital construct. It's only when you watch the video that's like, that looks a little too perfect. And then when you watch the video with the gospel choir in the background, you notice that their lips are not matching what they're saying or singing, that it becomes evident that you're watching an AI video. So where do we draw the line on this as Christians? I mean, can we sing praise and worship music or listen to it when it's been constructed by an AI and marketed to us as an actual artist? I mean, again, faithful soul from something that doesn't have a soul. Now, we have friends who are musicians who use AI to create music, but generally it's being used as a tool. I can create a song and then I can very quickly play with different arrangements. Do I want guitar here? Do I want a sax solo there? Do I want a choir in the background or background harmonies at all? You can do things very quickly that you can't do in a studio, where you need to bring in musicians, communicate your vision to the human musicians, bring in the choir, teach them their parts, have them rehearse, and so on and so on. You can do things very quickly with it. Think of it as a very complicated, very advanced synthesizer, where instead of having a sax player play or a violin player play, you can sample the sound and bring it up on the synthesizer and play it on the keyboard. This just takes that to a next level, where you plug it in and you tell through verbal prompts what you want the AI to do. But when you take that a step farther and you use it to animate an avatar, is that going beyond the pale? And as AI-generated videos become more advanced, we'll get to a point where you will not be able to tell that the AI artist you're listening to is not human. And that leads to the conversation we're having this week on Skywatch TV with Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, author of the new book, AI for Humanity's Future. He is not universally, completely opposed to the use of AI, but as Christians, we need to ask these questions and get out ahead of it so it doesn't smack us upside the head. Because is it possible that an AI might be subject to influence from an external force? Again, I will say that large language models, those neural networks that power the artificial intelligence chatbots, there's a reason their creators call them black boxes. They don't actually know what goes on in there any more than physicians and scientists know really exactly what happens up here. And we know that this can be overwhelmed by an external force. Don't miss the program and last week's program as well. This is important stuff, especially as these AI chatbots are being embedded into more and more tools. They're not just in our phones and our tablets anymore. They're, as we told you yesterday, being put into toys for Christmas. The program is available to watch right now. Interview with Lieutenant Colonel McGinnis at skywatchtv.com. You can watch it over the air. Our broadcast schedule is posted at skywatchtv.com/channels. Now, you can watch it on your big screen by adding the Skywatch TV channel to your smart TV or set-top box. If you got a smart TV, Google TV, Android TV, set-top box like Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, go to their app store, find the Skywatch TV channel and install it. And then you'll basically have us at your beck and call. We're also on the internet, youtube.com/@skywatchtelevision. Please subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, and hit the like button. Rumble.com/skywatchtv, or download our free mobile app to your smartphone or tablet. It's available for iOS, Android, and Amazon Kindle Fire devices. It is free, and we have links to those app stores at skywatchtv.com/app. Follow 5 in 10 online. You can find us at Telegram. We've got a channel there. If you've got the Telegram app, do a search for the 5 in 10 channel. Please subscribe. We're on YouTube at 5 in 10. Subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit the like button, and on X, formerly Twitter, at 5_in_10. Follow us there, and we'll keep you up to date with news as it breaks. Again, no programs tomorrow or Friday as we are off for the Thanksgiving Day holiday here in the United States. And again next week because of doctoring and testing. An irregular schedule at best. And again, I appreciate your understanding. Until then, have a blessed weekend, and thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.